New layer. I'm going to drag it underneath all the other layers. Select my my honeycomb, and this little blue dot represents any and all things that are currently selected. And I'm going to drag that down onto layer 3. So now it's on its own layer, and I'll change this layer name to Photos, so I can have these distinctly different sections here. Save again. And now I'll work on my logo. So quickly, without making a big giant project out of it, I'm going to use a rounded rectangle. I know you all have beautiful logos to put in your projects, but this little shape here, I want to make sure it goes on the right layer, which right now it's going in the Photos layer, so that's not so helpful. And I need it to be at least up here in the text layer, so I'm going to click it and drag it to the text layer. Change the color to white. Zoom in, Z for zoom. Lost it there. Okay. And these little circles right here are your curve radius control. So I'm going to pull these all the way down so this shape is as curved as it could be on both sides. Is done. Move my text over a little bit and go back to my shape tool, to polygon, option click, and I want a 6-sided polygon this time. S for scale tool, click shift drag, and I'll use the arrow tools just to move this over. All right, selecting both my simple shape and my text, I'll group those, object group. Selecting the curved cornered rectangle and the group, going back to the Align panel. Here it is. Align to Selection, Center. Okay. So tag name's kind of small. I'm going to shift it over 50 pixels, resize it. If I select this curved corner rectangle and I go Command D, it will also resize. Something you should know. Okay? Command B for duplicate again. And last thing here on my exciting logo is I'm going to change this color to gold, or more of an orange. There we go. Okay. So that's my top element in place, my menu in place, and now the photos. Each one of these rectangles does have a specific size, and again, you can use Photoshop in conjunction with Illustrator in a couple of different ways to put the artwork into the boxes. I do think that I want this box to be taller, so I'm going to go S for scale, or rather, I think I'll just click away and grab it from the middle center box and pull this down. Okay. This is going to be indicative of my slider artwork. And perfect. Okay. That's what I need. Honestly, I'm trying to just show you in a more real-world way without being ultra picky. You guys have the time to be ultra picky when you're working on it, but for me teaching you, I don't want you to zone out. So I'm pretty comfortable with working with most anything that I get, but I like to just make it clear that I'm working at a pace that I think will hopefully keep you feeling awake. Okay, so one way I could put the artwork in is I could simply go to Illustrator now, paste the artwork. Okay, so now it's pasted, not placed. And the difference here is that this is, when it's pasted, it's embedded in the artwork and it actually makes the file larger. When it's placed, it's a proxy or a placeholder, and if you were to share it with someone, you would need to make sure that you sent the artwork with it. Okay, place is a proxy. It's not embedded, it's linked. Paste is embedded. Embedded is a larger file size. Placed requires that you send the artwork with it if you're sending it to someone else to work on. So here I am going to show you how to put this image in this box in the first way. So I'll scale the art, the photo. I'm not too worried about distorting because I can adjust as I go. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, this could have been taken with a wide-angle lens. I'm going to cut the photo, select this rectangle, and do Edit, Paste in Back. That puts the photo behind the rectangle. Select the rectangle also, so that's Shift-click to select both the rectangle and the artwork. And then I'm going to go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And what that did was it took the artwork and placed it precisely in place inside of the rectangle that I had. I would be happy to do that one more time. And I'm going to take it from here. So I resized the artwork, or the photo, and I'm guessing that I have it in the right place. I'll cut it, Command X, select the gray rectangle, choose Edit, Paste in Back. The photo has to be behind the rectangle. Hold the Shift key to click the rectangle. So now the photo and the rectangle are selected. And we go Object, Clipping Mask, Make. That is a clipping mask in Illustrator, which is a way of putting something inside of a box. Now that has become more of a photo element. And if I click on it, I can see over here it's called a clipping group. You see that clip group? But I might want to move that now down, because this is a second version of my layout anyway, into the photos area. Make sense? Okay, now I'm curious, how is my pop-down menu going to look on that? Pretty neat, except that I think it would be better if, I'm going to come over to here. It would be really beautiful if I have this as a darker gray. So I'm going to revamp my gray color. Okay, and then, I'm going to go to this layer where this exists and use my sub-select tool, so it's only selecting the rectangle, not the text. And I'm going to choose Effect, and I want to choose a effect of transparent. There's another menu in Illustrator, that's another one that is similar to Effect, and it is called Appearance. This is the one I really want. Appearance. That's it. Okay. The Appearance panel will show you the settings of any item that you have selected and also allow you to change the settings of that item. So here we have a fill on the opacity of default, and I'm going to change this opacity to something like 85%. I think it'll be safe. 85. It's important to remember that everything will seem lighter. I'm designing on a Mac, so everything I design on this Mac will look darker on a PC. If you're designing on a PC, everything that you design will look lighter on your Mac. The same graphic will look lighter on a Mac and darker on a PC. All right, so now I know that my menu is going to look sharp, and I can hide my pop-up menu again and save my file. If in the case I want to make this look like it's a slider, I may want to have more than one image for this block. Make sense? Okay. But now I've got this clipping group, so what am I going to do about that? So if I go to the pop-down menu and I click on my clipping group, I'm going to select it, and I'm going to ungroup it for a moment here. Ungroup. And now it's actually separated the photo from the rectangle, sort of. If I click on it again, let's go again, Object, Expand, Object, Clipping Mask, Release is what will take it apart. So it's a type of a group, but it's really a clipping mask. I'm going to duplicate the rectangle 2 times. First I will hide the artwork, the layer 0, and my rectangle seems to have turned no fill, no stroke. So automatically when you make a clipping group, Illustrator will make your clipping, your rectangle that you were using for your clipping mask have no fill and no stroke. And then I'm just going to copy and paste in front, Command F 2 times, Command F. Bring the photo back into play. Use these little circles called the, I've heard them called the meatballers or the targets. So these 2 targets are selected again, and Object, Clipping Mask, Make, and then I can hide this layer and do the next one. So here's the next rectangle, and here I'll do the next search. I'll just stay here and look at this awesome person. They can be my beekeeper. Copy image, toggle over, and I'll just do 2 of these so you'll understand well enough after 2. All right, so again I'll paste and Command S for size, or just S for size, and I'll click and drag. She does not look good like that. It's not a pretty thing. That's not good. All right, so I'm not going to use that image. I'm going to come over here and go back 1 and do beekeepers. So maybe I'll get friendly beekeepers hanging out together. That might be better, because I know I'm going to have a multiple. They look a little scary. Let's admit it, they look scary. They're kind of freaky looking. All right, here. This might work better. So Control click, copy image, toggle over, paste, good size, great size. S for scale, click and drag smaller. As long as it's covering the page and I can see most of the bee, I'm going to be happy with that. Then I need to move it behind, so here it is. I'm going to move it behind a rectangle. Regular selection tool, select a rectangle and the photo, and Clipping Mask, Make. So that's my second image for my slider. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop recording again.